Hey guys, Reynolds here. Today we're going to be doing a small commentary on a basically tank setup we're going to run. You can downgrade as needed. Echo Boots can make Guardians instead. I would highly recommend a Blood Fury. Firekeep's alright too, but just make sure, and Dragon Defender, but it'll just make it run a little bit slower. If you're using this setup, this probably means you're a little bit on the more inexperienced side, so I do recommend having a little more on the Restore side than the Brew side, because you don't really want to be flicking too hard to minimize the potential of you making a mistake. We're just going to be running Def Charge Lightbearer SGS to maximize our amount of supplies going into the run. That's pretty much it. We'll showcase some basic solves with some tank solves, a little bit of mixture of both, so we can kind of show you how to basically solve stacks of 2. Most likely we're not going to do anything more than stacks of 2. First things first, just drop one thing so you can equip your blowpipe. This setup, we're going to be using the blowpipe and the trident to two-shot the Fremniks as fast as possible. Quartet is a little bit scary if you get 2 meleeers with this setup, as it'll take 4 shots to kill those, and they're very dangerous. Just leave on Piety for this series as a 3-shotter. And the hammer and the whip are going to be used exclusively for the boss. Fang will be used for the wave because it's very convenient 5-tick weapon. That makes it easy to flick Piety in line with everything else's 5-tick cycle. Frailty is okay here. Frailty 1 and 2 is something you want to aim for taking. 5 ticks after you press continue, the Fremniks will spawn, so make sure you try to get back here quickly. Now, with a shaman in the back, there's 2 ways to solve it. There's the easy way, there's the annoying way, and the more annoying and most basic way you want to learn to solve it is when you have a 2-stack. You want to look at the side they're leaning toward and go opposite of it, and then pray against the back one first. To set up the method, you need to be melee distance of the pillar and in the middle of the pillar. Well, SGS the major because he's squishier. Get some prayer points. Then do some lazy Piety flicks. Uses an amethyst darts, but you could use whatever dart lets you 3-shot. Let's go back here. Here, Relentless is not good with a tank setup because it nullifies the whole setup. Let's go Blast 2. If you're late getting to this tile, then you might get hit, which is why I do recommend having like Piety up, just in case you do get hit by this guy. Very unlikely to get hit. Get some free prayer points off this guy. Potentially HP if you got damaged earlier. Let's say he ranged me. Then that'll heal it up. If you ever have anything trapped back there, you can attack them on this area without getting hit. However, if you need to transition, you can also go underneath the monsters. I wouldn't recommend it now because we're kind of waiting for reinforcements too, but every 5 attacks, this guy will throw a javelin, undodgeable. Tank gear doesn't help you if you get hit by that, so dodge that. We'll go here. It won't spot us. Can we get closer? Right after you kill this guy, make sure you run all the way back. unlucky. Quartet is the best one here because we've already invested into level 1s of these already. Quartet is not a guaranteed invocation to get again later. Bring Mage against Sears, and that's SGS to bail ourselves out of that bad situation that we kind of got ourselves into. I should have just stayed on this side. I don't know why I thought this guy wouldn't be there. He would be stuck here, but I was wrong. Oh well. We'll kill reinforcements. The crux of this tactic and main tactic you see is we're going to be safe spotting something here. If it's too far, like let's say it's ending over there and hitting you, you're going to tank here temporarily just for a little bit to bring it closer, and then you're going to 1v1 it before reinforcements come out. Then you'll take care of the reinforcements, and lastly solve the stack. That will be our main tactic throughout pretty much every wave. In case there's two things, let's say south and hitting you, and two things at the same time hitting you on the other side, then we can always leave and go to a different pillar. Oops. You don't have to turn off your overheads, but I do recommend using piety when you can. Just speed up your waves. Penalty 2 is probably best here. Try to avoid blast 3 as long as you can. But if we're forced to take it, we will. We'll tank here temporarily. Now, because he's by himself, we're just gonna 1v1 now before reinforcements come out. If the major comes out, we'll pray mage and piety. SGS off the archers to bail ourselves out. Put on the Din's one-way switch and run. And you'll probably be fine. But we're ready to brew in case we're not. That's what leaving the archers alive is for also, so you can have like a free HP pool that's easy to access. Wave 5 and 6 tend to be a little bit dangerous, mostly 6, but now if you have a meleeer that's kind of memeing your stack, you can unstack it by simply running far away. So first, let's get out of range of the shaman here, and then let's prepare to tank the manticore, and by tank I mean pray against it, while running east to kind of make the meleeer come out to attack us. Done. Now we can 1v1 the jaguar. Similarly, you can lure out the major by doing the same thing. I should have stayed there for longer. Let's do it again. Now you see the majors coming. Make sure you let them come all the way around the corner. Keep in mind it doesn't work on this side here because you don't have enough space. And that's a general rule of thumb. You have to be really careful. Like, you generally want to be against the doors usually when you lure, but there are some exceptions. Oops. Usually when you just click the manticore, if you're using a 5-tick weapon, your party will be aligned with the same tick as first attack. Makes it easy to flake. Pretty good supplies. On supplies, I haven't really used much. Myopia is better than Solar Flare because you don't really want Solar Flare at 3, but you're willing to take it if needed. Myopia, you're always willing to take to 3. So let's go ahead and go for Myopia first. Do a little misclicking on the Berserker here. Berserker is always the highest threat. Because of that reason, I'm going to stab you. We'll leave the other ranger alive in this case. 1v1 the major and wait for reinforcements. These guys are almost always off-ticked, but if you're not sure, just pray Piety. And then, yeah, attack the melee after the major's animation starts, and you'll off-tick them like that easily. Step back. Let it move, and then attack. You're not in a rush in your first kill count, remember? Doesn't mean you waste time, but you're not in a rush either. Get some free prayer points. Be really careful about this guy's click box. It's very skinny. Take the easier route here, which is going to be fighting the 2 rangers. Now, although that's an easier route, I do want to showcase. Let's see if this Manticore is ranged or mage. Mage would be perfect, for example. Nice. So, if you have an odd stack like this, obviously here, you can just fight the 2 rangers. But let's say we substituted one of these rangers for a mage, then it might not be so easy. So, if you want, or if you're forced to fight, let's say this Manticore and this ranger at the same time, instead of flying out from melee range, when you have a 3 stack like this, and this one will prevent this one from moving, and thus he will attack first tick instead. That is not what you want. Because first tick is mage, and then the range is also first tick. That's not good. So what you want to do is move back 1 away, and then fly out that way toward the monster you want to attack first. And then the second tick of this Manticore the range will line up with the second one. So this back one will attack on the second tick instead. As such. And remember, because he attacks first, after this guy's second attack, you want to be focusing on the Manticore and waiting on him. But of course here, path of least resistance. Take the easy to execute route, which is just killing the 2 rangers first in this instance. And now we're forced to deal with this double stack. Now we want them off-ticked. Remember, when the off-tick is ambushed, it's going to be a 4 prayer route, which you do range, then Manticore, which is mage, range, melee. So we actually did kind of make it a little bit harder at the end by doing this route. And we're going to stay in melee range for this one. Wait for him to attack. Because we ended up having to do a 4 prayer order instead of sticking on a 3 prayer order. But it's okay. Now we bypassed wave 6. If we needed to brew, we would have, because wave 6 is considered one of the harder waves of the Colosseum. Dynamic Duo is probably the best one here, but it is something I would avoid if I had the option, because it does make some stacks a little bit more annoying. This one's pretty easy, but the 2 Berserkers are definitely the most dangerous part of this setup. Alright. Now to bring him closer, we're going to take range on this side. Looked a little bit late. And then we're going to 1v1. Now we're fighting 2 of them, which is a little annoying, but okay. We'll most likely be able to kill 1. If you had Scythe, you'd easily be able to kill 2 before the Minotaur spawns. That's okay. Now you can wait for this Minotaur to get closer. Take your time with the setup. He'll attack first, and you can click the Minotaur and pray melee. You see how I didn't click right away when he attacked? That's to make it so that I have more reaction time on myself between the flicks. I could have just clicked right away, saved the tick, sure, but then this would become a little bit more mechanically challenging to, do. Now, this one is a free tank because you can just fly out and it's range, same tick. But if it was mage, same tick, I could just do like mage and then pray the very last melee, right? So we'll wait for him to attack, and then we'll fly out, we'll pray against the Manticore and come back. We'll hold range, and then we'll go back to the mage here, and we'll 1v1. The mage is very squishy, so we'll go ahead and SGS. A 1 is okay, because you still get a base level of benefit from your SGS, even if you hit a 1. Now, it doesn't really matter which side you fly out in this case. Generally, this side is better in case something's trapped there, but here it doesn't matter at all. They'll be same ticked. Having Warhammer is also really good for boss later, because you don't have the luxury of killing it super quick with Scythe. Hammer benefits a longer kill a lot more than, let's say, like claws. And from my experiments, although Justy is a little bit of a meme, it does reduce the damage of Soul's attacks, even his AoE attacks. They seem to be counting as melee attacks. Same thing for his parry and his grabs. They seem to be counting as melee attacks, which means you get the defensive properties of Justy as well. The damage reduction on every single attack that he does, besides, floor and laser. For some reason, we haven't re-gotten Myopia in a while, so we're going to take some pretty annoying ones. I'm going to go with, personally, I'd rather have Frailty 3 because I'm more experienced, but you, hopefully, would probably just leave at this point or try to take a re-entry. I don't really recommend Volatility in a melee setup with Quartet, because that tends to build up to be pretty disastrous. We'll pray ranged here, because it's the only thing that sees us. Don't worry too much about the majors. They do sting. Don't get me wrong, they sting. But but nothing a good old SGS can work out. And here, we're gonna pray. We're gonna brew. Then we're gonna 1v1. And everything is fine. Probably overbrewed. I forgot I have frailty 3, but it's okay. So when the Minotaur comes, he might get stuck, he might not, depending on your stack. In this case, he didn't get stuck, but that's okay. He can't heal anything over this other side of the pillar. I can safely 1v1 this guy and take my time. This is where re-entry gets a little bit annoying, because then you have to work with the other tiles. The Minotaur, you can move up to here and be fine, but make sure you never grieve this last one, because then you'll be in a little bit of a sticky situation. You could also off-take the Minotaur with the Ranger, which would give you more tiles to work with, all of this in that case. But it's an extra step to remember, and I don't think this commentary is for those kind of players, so we'll go ahead and take frailty 3 with the tank setup, which should still be fine, but definitely not ideal for your first kill. Now, there's probably a way to set this up, but again, this is a cheese method. If you are going to commit to a cross, just put it on block. Otherwise, I just leave it on pommel for convenience. And we'll put it back on pommel so we can switch back without any delays. And this block seems a little bit annoying, so we'll cross again. Probably nothing will happen to us. Alright, now we have a much easier 1v1 angle. This Manticore will be off-ticked with the majors here, so we can take the meme route and cross again. But if you want, I highly recommend looking like up an Inferno guide if you want to learn how to solve stacks. On Weedo Raids, the Colosseum on pinned messages also has a way to solve all these kind of different stacks, but this is a cheese guide, so we cross. You see, we essentially only need to tank this one Manticore ranged because we always pray the third hit anyway. This guy back on pommel. And we'll 1v1 our Manticore. You remember, we need to get to a nice position. Let's go ahead and run. Being a little far away from it's fine. My OP2 is definitely the best one here. Nice, well timed. We only need to tank this one Manticore. We'll pray melee while we wait. Then we'll pray against Manticore. And we'll pray Major. Then pray the Manticore. Or just pray the Manticore, it's fine either way. SGS. And 1v1 or a Manticore. This is wave 9, so this is going to be a melee, we're chilling completely. But if there was wave 10 or 11 here, then you might be in a bit of a pickle, because then the major is coming. So you kind of have to just make sure you kill this guy as quickly as possible. React. You can also cross again if absolutely needed, but in this case, not needed at all. Now this is a little annoying. He healed it because he was destacked, so I should have sat here. Lesson learned. But easy to fix. We'll tank this guy one more time. And we'll cross over range, because that's the only thing that sees us. And we'll run back here and bring the Manticore. And now he will no longer be able to stop me from killing this guy. And our solution is done. If there were more things to tank, you could also whip out the Dins there and just pray mage, or basically figure a way to tank while moving this way. But Manticore is an easy one to do because he only attacks every 10 ticks, so you tank a cycle and you can run in between 10 ticks. You got plenty of time. It's like the least mechanically challenging route. Kill the ranger first. Supplies seem very healthy. I recommend you have about 2 to 3 restores to the boss if you don't have a Scythe. 2 is fine if you have Scythe, but it's a pretty long fight. And you can of course run this with Vandos, very similar range defense, but having the % reduction is pretty nice if you're just trying to get like a one-time cape. Now, Myopia 3 is definitely the best one out of these 3. Bees is something you want to avoid. It's gonna tank range on this side, and we'll 1v1 our ranger. Hopefully we kill it before the Minotaur and the mage spawns. If it doesn't, we'll attempt to go for a off-prime on the major. Nice. My DPS is pretty low with the setup, especially not having like claws or something to bail me out. Normally in like a max setup you could just claw or, you know, scythe that down, you'll for sure make it, but with a fang it's a little bit more difficult. Now, this stack is actually, in this particular instance, it's pretty free because if this Manticore is mage, you could always drag out the shaman by praying mage, and then range, and then melee basically while walking out, because he sees you on the second tick if you're like walking out. He wants you right away. He'll see you when you like walk here. If, however, he's ranged like he is now, you now also know that this Manticore is ranged. This shaman actually cannot see you when you're meleeing this guy, so this is just a free solve where you kill this one first. He's going to be on the same tick. Remember, I flew out on the corner there because I wanted them to be on the same tick, because I knew that this was ranged. I thought he would die there. Now we'll let this stack settle. We'll save some spec for last wave. We want them same ticked, so we'll just fly out the corner here. Remember, javelins are very dangerous, so make sure you keep an eye out. If you're really good on supplies, just camp your piety. That is completely up to you. The biggest danger we're going to have for this next wave is if I'm playing against a major ranger and I have to deal with 2 melees while having frailty 3 on. So that would suck. That would suck a lot. I really wish I got Solar Flare 1 or 2 this run, but it is what it is. We try to make it work what we have. Solar Flare, great. Left early. Looks like it worked out. Try to kill his melee quickly. Followed by this major. Let's hang on this side. Now we're kind of 2v1ing things, so let's go ahead and put on our Jins and book it. Always pray mage because you're built against everything else. Be afraid to use your brews and stuff. That guy's gonna come down toward me, so is that guy. The Minotaur is also waiting to spawn. So what we can do is tank and get ready to leave, but not leave just yet. Put on block. Now we leave. Probably should have left right before he spawned, but... leave again. You're extremely tanky in the setups. This setup over here looks easy. Actually, it's not. This is what our brews are for. Now this setup looks easy. Now he's melee range. We're chilling. We still even have our SGS pack here. Yes, I did in fact do a whole Mr. Worldwide. Imagine I had frailty 2 or no frailty at all, and that's very free tanks. Also no dynamic duo. Dynamic duo makes it a little bit spookier. So here, we need to pull out the Minotaur because he's going to heal any of the other members. So you can plan out your tank route. The Ranger will see you, unfortunately, same tick as his Javelin Colossus. So what I'm going to do is probably just play against the Manticore, which is Mage, and then go for the range and the melee. So we're going to be tanking just that one Ranger Colossus. Put yourself on block. And we can actually even set it up to be even easier. We don't need to move very far to get this guy unstuck. So we only need to move here. We can actually walk this and then run back. And I'm going to control click. And then click back with melee. And boom, it's all set up. Heal back up. Now we're chilling. Wave 11 has been solved slowly but surely. This stack's a little rough. Supply is looking extremely good. I'm gonna attack it. Let this guy pass. plan out our tank route as we leave, because we want to make this a 2-stack to make it simple for the noobs. Let's set our dins to block. And then it looks like we're just going to pray against the Manticore here. That seems all right. We could... This is actually just a free Z-stack solve. Because these guys will purposely off-tick each other anyway. So we can use that same solve. We'll remove back 1. Go here. He'll see me first. He'll see me second. And then I'll line up with his ticks perfectly on both. We just gotta pray against the Manticores. Wait for the solar filler pass. Set up the cycle again. Rinse and repeat. No need to cross. Let's see what the stack devolves into. Now, unfortunately, because this major is no longer blocking, I can't do that same solve as before. And someone could probably tell me what the correct solve for this is, but I don't care. Now we have an easy 1v1. I'm saving my spec as you see here for the boss. We're really good on supplies anyway. Now there's a regular 2-stack solve. Hopefully you know how to do a regular 2-stack solve. For this instance, we want them off-ticked, so we're going to go melee range. The back one will hit first, and because it's a Manticore hitting first, it means we just need to focus on the Manticore, nothing else. That'd be great. And just make sure you put range on afterwards. After he attacks, focus on the Manticore. Watch out for javelin throws. Manticore. After he attacks, we'll focus on the Manticore. Javelin throw does in fact count as an attack. No reason to throw. Let's say we mess up this prayer somehow at the very end because we're getting nervous. I'm just leaving Piety on. The chance I die is extremely low with it on. Now here are some tips I have for the boss. Now, you can do the regular movement method, which is what everyone's doing, which is you're going to be standing middle, and then I think Blast 3 seems to be the best one here, because it's going to be the one that doesn't deal damage. But let's not pick yet. Uniques, okay. So, the regular movement method you guys might know is you want to dodge middle 1 away from the boss when the boss starts, and then if it was spear 1, which it is always guaranteed to be spear 1 on its very first attack, you'll do a diagonal, and then if you have to then check whether it was shield 1 or spear 2 that you just dodged. You never want to go into the boss thinking, oh, I need to see what animation he's doing. He's doing shield 1, I need to be 1 away from him. Oh, he's doing spear 1, I need to be in the center of him. You never want to think of the boss like that. Every single time you fight Soul, you need to think of the fight as a, I need to dodge here and then think about what he just hit me with. That is a much better way to think of the fight, because then you always have a plan instead of having to react to possibly billion things like the lasers coming out, the floor, the solar flare potentially, and stuff like that. Also, as a reminder, this run has quartet, so make sure you start the fight praying melee because the berserker is very dangerous. And then if it's not, then you can pray against whatever else it is. Make sure you kill it. Now, second thing, that's one way to see, no matter what kind of movement tech you're going to be doing, that's how you need to visualize and think of the boss. You dodge and then think, what did you just end up dodging? Because that will now determine your next pre-dodge. So you always pre-dodge, see what it did, pre-dodge, rinse and repeat. If he does special attacks such as the parry, going for a grab on your body parts, then he will always reset back to Spear 1, and you still have a pre-dodge going on there. And then you now even have two pre-dodges because you know it's Spear 1 into a diag dodge if you're doing the middle method. Alternatively, if you want to try the xzact method, which is a little bit simpler to do, less precision required, then you can go to a corner of him, and if you want a brief rundown on how that works, after any number 2 attack, aka shield 1 or spear 2, after any number 2 attacks, shield 2 or spear 2, you move 1 cardinally away from the boss. So if the boss is east of you or looking like west, then you're going to move 1 back west. That dodges both spear 1 and shield 1. If he then did spear 1, you're going to dodge 2, which is going to be 2 to the side of the boss. So let's pretend this is Soul right here. With the xzact method, it's a little bit simpler to visualize and think of, because after any number 1 attack, you'll be moving 2 tiles away from yourself, and after any number 2 attack, you'll be moving 1 tile away from the boss. That's all so it's very simple to think of that way. The only difference is if he did shield 1 or spear 1, that just determines the direction of your 2 movements. So if he just did shield 1, you want to do 2 away from the boss. If he just did spear 1, you need to do 2 to the side of the boss. Both methods work completely fine. I think the xzact one's easier to memorize and execute, but feel free to do whatever method makes you more comfortable. The most common method is just to run it middle. But we'll showcase the xzact method in case you want to see what it looks like. And you're going to start the boss with 2 hammers right away. And then we're going to use our tentacle whip. And then we'll go diag. And see, that's how you dodge spear 1. I'm going to go to the side of the boss. It was shield 2, so we'll dodge back. Now it's spear 1, so we'll move here. It was shield 1, now we'll move here. It was spear 1, we're going to move here. We'll fight for some arena space. Spear 2, we're going to do 1 back. Now I'm pretty sure this timing is 3-3-4, but some people say it's something else. Shield 1, we're going to move 2 back. I should probably use a whip. It's probably way more DPS, isn't it? 2 back. Then after any number 2, we're going to move 1 back. Spear 1, we're going to move here. We'll go find a different corner. We still need to cross. Boom. Spear 2, we're going to move 1 back. Spear 1, we're going to cross sideways. Go for hammer. I don't remember what this did. Spear 1, we're going to go here. Parry that. Now he will do... I don't remember. Alright, now we're going to do 2 back. Spear 1, we have... Spear shield 1, we just have to move 2 back. Keep this pattern. Number 2, we dodge 1 back. We'll go down sideways. After any of those, we'll go diag. We know the other method as well. After spear 2, we always move 1 back. After shield 1, we always go 2 back. We'll cross here. Now we're lacking a bit of space, so let's go ahead and get some space back. I don't remember what his last attack was. I'm gonna wing it and say guess this one. We know the middle method as well, luckily. After shield 1, we always go 2 back. After spear 1, we always go here. 3. 3, he's under 50%, hold extra long. Boom. After shield 1, always 2 back. After number 2, always number 1 back. 3. 3, hold extra long. Boom. 2 back. And 1 back after any 2. We memorized wrong. That was a number 2 attack, so we're gonna do 1 back. Spear 1, we're gonna cross. Now we're just gonna move to a different part of the map. After a grab, it always goes back to number 1, I think. I don't know, whatever. I memorized wrong. Sue me. This is the middle method. We're gonna go diag after. After shield 1, we always go 2 back. Center, that is. Dodge laser. There you go. That's what it looks like with this kind of setup. Got plenty of supplies left. Both methods work. Whatever you want to memorize, do that. But visualize it as, he just did that, I need to move here next. He just did that, I need to move here next. Always visualize every kill like that, and you'll have a much greater time. There you go. Good luck on your capes. I hope this helped. Maybe it didn't. Reynolds, you suck. Whatever, man.